Hi, welcome to another lesson. In our last lesson, we looked at a portfolio app where we have from home, about us, education, experience, and skills on a single page. As you click, when you click home, it's going to bring you to the beginning of the page. Then if you go to about us, it's going to show you the about page where you can download resume and see information about yourself. Then education, you can see the education details, and then experience and skills like that. Where we use at the skills, we use uh, map to uh, iterate through our skills and display it in uh, on UL items. So far, this is what we have as our code in the home.js. The only thing we have there is a front-end developer with many years of experience, and then we have it as summary. Then in our about, that's the place where we are displaying download resume and then some other information about which says about me here and gives other information. Then we have a button that we use to download resume. This button listens using on click, look for the resume function and call the function. Alright, then so also education, we have things in the education, experience, we have things inside the experience, and then we have things inside the skills where we use an object to uh, list our skills, and then we now iterate through the skills in our components. So we talk about these two types of components, which we say we have functional component and we have class-based components, but we are using functional component as is the latest in React. Then we are saying we now have in the functional component, we have the one which you create as a normal function by using the keyword function, and then you specify the name of your function, just like this. And then we also have another one which is arrow function, or you can refer to it as anonymous function. Alright, so that is that about function. Now today, what do we want to do? What we want to do today is that we want to make our application not to use a bookmark link again. As it is now, everything is just on a single page, so we are just using the menu to go to a particular line on our page. Now what we want to do is that we want to make sure that at every point in time you click on any of these links, it renders only the component under that link, and that is what we want to do now. Alright, so how do we do this? The first thing we need is that we need a module or a package, a React package called React Router DOM. So if we go to online by searching React Router DOM, let me search through it from npm. You can see the npm, the node package manager. So if you click on this, then you see how do you install the React Router DOM. This is it. npm I stands for install, then React Router DOM. So I'm going to copy this That is it. It is copied, and run that in my terminal. So I want to start another terminal now. We go ahead, terminal, new terminal, because I already used one to start the application. So I'm going to restore the React Router DOM right here. So as the React Router DOM is installing, now let's quickly make some adjustments to our code. So what are the things we need to do now? We need to first of all work on our navigation. Our navigation are supposed to change now from using the hash symbol to a direct normal link. So that is going to be done inside the navigation bar. So now here we have, you can see, hash home. So I'm going to let it be just /home. Then for the about is going to be /about. In fact, this we may not even say /home. It could just be at the load of our application. That is what it should do. It should just load the home directly. So now /about, then /education, we remove the hash. For this experience project, at this point we can just use our experience directly rather than saying project, but let me stick to the project as we have used it before, and then skills. So with this, we'll save our navigation bar. Now the link will change from having hash. You can see when you click on home, it's loading the local host. If you're looking at this place, you see what I'm saying? Click on home, it's loading the normal local host for what we have. By clicking on about, it is /about, education/education, experience/project, and then skills. All right. Now, things has changed now. If you click on about, it's not doing anything. You can see it still remains on the page because there is nothing to tell it that just render component about at this point. So it's still loading. Even if you go to education, it won't go to education. It will just still load the entire page for you and start at the beginning, because there's nothing to tell it that it should load the education component. So now what do? We need to make adjustments to our app.js. So now we are done installing the React Router DOM. If you want to know now, if you go to your package.json, things would have changed. You'll see that React Router DOM should be among the dependencies that you have now. Look at it, React Router DOM and the version. So this is now among the dependencies that this application require to start. All right, now let's continue. Let us move on to the app.js and make an adjustment. Tell it that, okay, whenever they click on a particular link, then just render only the components, not the entire page this time around. So what do we do in this case? We're going to import certain function inside the React Router DOM by coming here and say import, because we are going to import so many things, not just a single function this time around. So now we put it into bracket and say import browser router. Well, we are not going to be calling browser router, we're just going to be calling it as router. So we're going to say as router, comma. So rather than we calling browser router, we'll be calling just router. So import it as router, and then import route, that is individual route, like individual link. that we want to link to, and then we are going to import routes. Route is like it is a component that will group multiple routes together. So routes, we have multiple routes in it. So how do we go about that? Now, the first thing I want us to look at is when we are returning. We return a div class of container, fine. Then that is where we are going to start our router. So we'll just bring in our router through here. Router, no, that's our browser router, and then it is going to close at the end. This time around now, as we are opening, we'll be closing. So once I type this router, it's not closing here, we are closing it right here, router. Okay, that's it. So we're closing the router right here. Then let me make it clear or possibly make this to be out of this for now. Okay, now we are going to now have inside the router, we're going to have routes. But before we have our routes, we're going to have our navbar that won't be inside the group of routes, because whenever they load the page, the navbar should always come up. Okay, let me do everything. Let me leave it for now, so that I will come back to the navbar later. Let's see what it is going to be for now. Okay, so we're going to have routes as well. Routes. We're going to have routes, and then we close the route down here. The route is going to close down here. Okay, that is, we have multiple routes. Then we're now going to have individual routes that we'll be calling each component. Let's say, for instance, we have route, the one for the home. Let me start with one for the home. I will say route. The route is a self-close, not open and close. But it is going to have certain things inside, certain attributes, which will be something happened the other time. When you click on the home page, yes, because we have some errors now. When you click on this, it's still loading the entire page, because React will still look at this slash as the home. So we need to put it there that exact, when it matches the exact route, that is what when you load this particular component. So we're going to say exact, then path. Exact path is equal to slash, then you do what? You call on the which component. Element is equal to what? Element is equal to this. This is what we are going to be having now. So element is equal to what? Whatever our element is. So we need to close this. I want to finish it, then I will now duplicate it. Okay, so now we're going to have this for multiple. We're going to have it for 1, 2, 3, 4. I think for home as well. Okay, so let me do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now here is, if it is home, then you call the component of what? Home. So here we come here and say call home component. No, home component is going to have its own view. Okay, that's it. Call home component. Then if it is, that is if it is slash. So if it is about, then you should call about component. If it is education slash education, call the education component. If it is experience, if you have it as the experience, we use it as project. It is project slash project, then call up the experience. Then if it is slash skills, call the skills component. The only one we've not done for is nav. Okay, now let me do for nav. Let's see what will happen for now. If I should copy this, paste it down here, and say okay. Whenever it is nav, no, we don't have anything for like nav. We don't have that. And then because what we want to do now is that we want the application to load the nav on any component we have. If you go to home page, the nav bar should load. You go to about us, the nav bar should load. You go to education, the nav bar should load. It should be there. Then you are going to put the nav before the routes, before the group of navigations. You know, we have this one, we group them together here, routes. But our nav should load, it should display on, whether you are on home, the nav should be there. Whether you are on, oh, we have duplicate of this home. Okay, I wanted to use it for the nav. Now we have for, if we are on about, the nav should load. If you are on education, the nav should load. You are on experience, you are on skills, the nav should still load. Now, how do you mean we have a footer? The footer too will be here. If you have header, you put header, you know, we use header as our navigation here. But if you have it separately, if you have any component that irrespective of the page you have, it must show, then you put that in between the router and route, and then in between the route and router at the closing. So let's see what we have for now on this. Now let me go ahead, okay, because we are on slash education. You can see that we can only see education now, and we have our nav bar like I said the other time. So if I should come here now and remove the nav, you will see that the nav will not show again. You can see. So what is making nav to show is because of the place where you put it, that it should always render the nav irrespective of anywhere you are. So if I go to home now, so it's only going to show to me the home. It's not going to be showing the entire page as we have it before this class. So if I should go to about, then it shows only the about me and nothing more. If I go to education, it's going to show the education. Experience is only going to show the experience, and skills is only going to show the skills. So with this, we have come at the application from a single page to multiple page application. it has, though it is still spa as the concept of React, but yet we change the navigation, like it should only render a particular component at a point in time rather than displaying everything, and then we are now navigating through bookmark link. If you want to add a footer, again for instance, we just go to our components, new file, and then we say this is footer.jss. Let me use JSS this time around. Then with this we can just say okay. Here can say, let me use the arrow function, constant footer is equal to this as arrow function. So here we're going to say return. Let me copy this of home, or yes, because we have all these things here. Return. Let me copy this and make leverage of that to give our footer content. So here we have class, let me say footer is what this is. Paragraph in the top and bottom is padding footer, in case we want to be using the ID for something. Then okay, so here rather than having this, we have this to be footer, and then let's say for instance this is our copyright, so say ampersand copy to give us the copyright symbol, and copy semicolon to give us the copyright symbol. Then I want to possibly say okay, all rights reserved. Okay, then I can come here and say I want to probably put the year after this. Okay, let's display the year. So if you want to display year now, first of all we need to export this function, export default footer. Okay, then we come here where we are showing the copyright. Here I'm going to say okay, new date dot get full year is a function. Okay, so this should give us the full year date, and then in our app, remember we have imported the footer and then we had it after the routes, just like we have the nav bar before the route, then we have the footer after the route. Now let's see what our result looks like. Okay, you can see we have the current year and this is our footer. Now any page we go to, we should see the footer there. This is skills. If I go to about, now about is showing, and then we also have our footer right there and the nav bar. If only we go to the home, the footer will be there and right after that. So we may not probably need to explicitly specifying the footer as we have done for others. So I'm going to remove this part where we have this H1. We don't need it for this part. We only need our copyright as footer. So that has changed now, right? So that is all for this lesson. Let's move on with other things in React. Thank you.